Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the gRPC. Okay. So first we are going to discuss about what is a gRPC. Okay. And then we'll discuss how gRPC is comparatively better than rest. Then few disadvantages we'll discuss. Then last we are going to talk about that how can we automate the gRPC call. Okay. Okay. So the gRPC, if we talk about the what is gRPC, is a powerful framework for working the remote procedure calls. Okay. So so I if we see here one term is there, the RPC, remote procedure calls, and the RPC when we talk, actually it's just allowed to run a code on a local computer. Okay. But and we feel like that it's executing on a local computer, but actually that code is existed on the some remote machine. Okay. So this RPC is a form of a client server communications. Okay. So where the client will so it's a form of client server communication. Okay. So that uses a function call rather than the any HTTP call. So generally what happens, we use HTTP calls, right, and where the client make a request and then server do the response here. Okay. So, right, but here this is RPC is bit different, which doesn't use the HTTP calls. Okay. And it works on the transport layer. Okay. And gRPC is not any new concepts. It was adopted from this old technique, and just we have done some improvement, and just and it's just born, you can say, the span of 5 years back, and by the Google. Okay. And that's why we say it is a gRPC. Okay. So now we'll see that's why it is so much why this gRPC is so popular. Okay. And the first thing is it's supported, right? gRPC supported a lot of languages actually. Okay. Means that so as earlier I showed you that gRPC we uses between the clients and server, right? So your client can be developed in one language, and server whatever the code we have deployed, the services we have done, that has been developed in the different language, and that both can communicate to each other. So the main thing is this: it supports a multiple language can communicate to each other, right? So that's the beauty of gRPC. The second one is the high performance. If we talk about the performance of this gRPC, comparatively it's better than the REST, if you see. Okay. And that's why if you see this, the gRPC is most popular among the microservices. Okay. Because why? What happened? The microservices, these microservices are running on several machines on pod. Okay. And they have been developed, okay, among they are developed in different languages. Okay. And how these services are going to communicate. Okay. So mainly use in communication among different microservices. Okay. Different microservices, right? Okay. And which are developed in different languages, right? So as I said you that mostly gRPC the practical use, I'm telling you, mostly it is being used in among the communication among the microservices. So it's not like that the end user with calling to the directly the gRPC services, because the end user, if will call, how he will call via the mobiles or the web browser, and that is HTTP protocol. And this browsers doesn't fully support this gRPC. Okay, so still now the end user or the callers will use a REST only, and he will call one REST. But when the so he will call to the REST only, and then communication among the different microservices will happen through the gRPC. Okay, hope it is clear. Okay, now one more important thing which I wanted to discuss, that is the HTTP2 protocol. Okay, so this HTTP2, so in earlier or generally we use HTTP1 protocols, which supports this REST, okay, the client communications, the client to server communications, and which are supported by your browser as well. Okay, but this 2015, this Google they have explored this HTTP protocols, and they brought here. Okay, and which have some awesome feature. Okay, and if you see HTTP protocol, right, what happens generally, the client will send a request, and corresponding that will get a response. Okay, a single response. But here when you do the HTTP protocol, right, HTTP2 if you are using, what will happen, the streaming. Okay, so here it will happen so here the main thing is server is streaming. Okay, means what will happen, so client will send a single request. Okay, single request, and we can get a multiple response. Okay, so what happened, client send single request, and we get multiple response in a single connection. TCP/IP in single connections we can get a multiple response. So that was not possible earlier in the HTTP protocol, but now it is a possible. Okay, in the HTTP2 protocol. Okay, and one more thing is we can send a multiple client request as well, the same. Okay, multiple client request we can send, and multiple response we can receive here. Okay, in the same connections. So it's not generally HTTP, what happen in one time connection happens, established. Okay, session established, and then client will send one request, and corresponding one response will get. Again, if you want to communicate, again you have to create a separate connections. Okay, here in the one connection only we can send a multiple request, and multiple response we can receive here. So that's the advantages of the gRPC over the traditional REST call, if I'll ask you. Okay. Okay, now one more important thing is there in HTTP protocol, and that is a bidirectional communication. Okay, and that is also a very strong feature here, that is a bidirectional communication or bidirectional streaming. Okay, now what is a bidirectional streaming actually? So here what happened, both the client and server, okay, can send a response to each other without blocking. Okay, means without blocking, means it's kind of asynchronous communication, right? So they are not going to wait for each other's response. It means one time if I'll send any request, it's not that's, and right, even though server has not sent any response, the client again he can send another request. Okay, okay, so it's kind of asynchronous, it support asynchronous, okay, streaming. So that is also one of the benefit here. Okay, so these are all the benefits what I wanted to bring you to the notice. Okay, there are definitely some few disadvantages we have, and that I don't think so it's a very major disadvantage or something like that. So the first one is a lack of maturity, I will say, means still we don't have a much more supports, or the we have not a very you can say compared to GraphQL, it don't have a lot of dev community who supports here. So I don't think so. I will consider it some main disadvantages, but yeah, still we have. And then we have a second one is as I told you, the limited browser support. Okay, because still the browser supports HTTP 1 protocol only, not 2. So that's that is a, yeah, the shortcomings we have. So that's why. Okay, so after this talking about this so till now I think I've gone through the what is gRPC, how why gRPC is so popular. Okay, and after disadvantage, now next we are going to discuss about the how to automate the gRPC call, right? For that directly I will show you the IntelliJ project, and then there only I will give you a walkthrough. Okay, that that how you can automate the gRPC call. Okay, before that, just I wanted to give you one one walkthrough I just wanted to give you. And so this one, before starting, you can see here one of the images I've taken from the net. Okay, so if you remember actually that in REST, right, we different type of the transfer medium. Okay, the payload we chooses in the form of either JSON or XML. Okay, we chooses, right. Here we chooses a protobuf, and that is designed by the Google only. Okay, so protobuf is a kind of file where we define all the you can say all the we define all the request response, all the contracts we define here, or request response and services we define here. And then we have the Proto-C compiler. So suppose that if you want to use Java as a language, okay, then we can use that specific means that a dependency we need to add. If you want to use a Ruby, then use that particular different type of dependency or okay, or compiler. So this Proto-C compiler will convert this protobuf file into the stubs. Okay, and then that stubs we are going to use to create a gRPC services. Okay, and then we'll deploy those gRPC services onto the servers. The same way we can create a clients. Okay, using that stubs we can create a gRPC clients, and that gRPC client we are going to use for writing our test cases. So this diagrams, if you see the end-to-end, right, first we need a protobuf file, so that we can get from our developer. We can ask them that where is our protobuf file, and once they will provide, we can include those protobuf file into our IntelliJ projects. And once we'll build our projects, the Proto-C compiler automatically it will convert into the stubs. It will automatically generate some codes here. Okay, so let me show you and that how we can do. If you see here that this is my gRPC automation IntelliJ project. Okay, and here let me show you first the build.gradle. So we'll start from the build.gradle file, where I will show you what all dependencies required. So here's, you can see here in the dependencies sections I have added these dependencies. Okay, and this plugin is required, protobuf, and one more in plugins I can show you that this com.google.protobuf. Okay, so what this does, okay, this will just convert our protobuf file into the stubs. Okay, so that is the purpose of using this plugin. Okay, and here you can say in the dependencies sections I have included all the required dependency for my gRPC automations. Okay, so you can see here the gRPC protobuf stubs, these all. Okay, and yeah, these many will require. And then here in the source set I'm just defining that where is my proto file is here. Okay, so okay, so if you see here in the main source, right? The main source we have defined the proto, okay, where I have defined my the proto files, okay. So so later I will show you that. So what is the structure of this proto file, okay. And this protobuf, and so now again come to this protobuf. So once we'll compile in these sections, we are defining actually after compiling that where this stubs files will be generated. So this is a folder structure which I have provided here, okay. Project directory, source, main, and generated. Under this here my code will be generated here, okay. And this is just a clean task, just to clean it, okay. So yeah, that's all what I have, okay. So now I will go here my so once you okay, so now let me go to the proto file, okay. So here I have created a new proto files, that is a book, okay. So here the book, what I'm doing, I have a, you can say I have a book service, okay, where the user can fetch a book, okay. So he can pass some a book ID, and then he can get that book response, whether book is available or not, the book details, and even we can search a book via the author. So this is just same like the rest only, right? It is a kind of method only. Okay. Now you can say that here it is a get book request, okay. So what this now this is a, so what is the format of this message here, okay. Inside that you can see, so sorry, the book request, right? So book request, this is int 32, okay, and ISBN data types, which is a type of int 32, and this is a 1 2 3 is a sequence number only, okay. And the book author request, this is a message format, okay, the contract you can say, and this is a string, author is a string type, okay. As a response, the message you can see, in response will get a message whether it's a succeeded or not, and the response code, okay, whether it's 200 or whatever, we can set a response code here. Actually we could have a return book object also, so you can create a book object also here, and right, like this way you can create a book, okay, like this way. You can give here whether int so if along with the this message and response code, if you want to return a book also, means if I am, because user is ideally, if user is searching any book, we should return a book also, right? List of books, yeah. Or maybe if you're searching in books based on author name, we should return a, okay, and means list of books, right? So that also we can do, but actually I did means here I haven't implemented. Maybe if you want, we can implement here. So just I'm trying to tell you that how you can do that, this one. And strings, what it could be, the title, it will be, the book will be title, okay, and book will have a author name, okay. So book will have author, like that we can do. Maybe you can add others also, means other detail as well. Here repeated, that is just like arrays we declare, right? The same here we do here, okay. Here we can add a book here, okay. And if he wants to do the response, if he wants to return a book also, object also, then we can add it. Otherwise just you can leave it, okay. So in this example I am not adding any additional object like a books here, but if you want you can do it, okay. Once you have done, right, once you have done this, just I'm going to remove it because it will just create a, okay. So okay, once it is done, just you have to do nothing, just you have to go here in your terminal, okay. So if you are going to, you just click on your terminal and type Gradle clean build, just press enter, okay. Once you press enter here, right, your this folder will be created here, okay, with all the with all the stubs detail. Okay, so let me check whether I haven't done anything. I think I haven't add anything. Cool. So I think let me delete this generated folder and let me build it. Okay, so Gradle, let me build it. Okay, so just I'm building, and once it will get built, it will automatically generate one of the generate folder here. Okay, under main. Okay, and then I will show you. Okay, now you can see here, so one folder has got generated. Okay, right, this folder has got generated. This is a stubs. Okay, and we are going to use this stubs to write our services, okay, and our clients. Okay, you can see this is a one of the book services it is. Okay, and here we have a different type of stubs has got generated. One is for unary call, for if you wants to develop services which is a bi-directional, okay, where both client and server is sending a request and response, okay, continuously, then we can go for the bi-directional. Otherwise just a unary means I will send a request and then I'll get a response, then we can go for the unary. So all those things just depend on our requirement. We can implement. Okay, so this is our stubs. Okay, now we'll go to the Java. Okay, here just I've created a repository, but I just commented here. So we'll go to the server here. Okay, and here I have just implemented. First I will show you that how I implemented my service. So this is a file, books store service implementations, and this file is already there inside this. Let me search here. Okay, you can find out where is that class. Sorry. Yes, here you can see, right, one class is there, abstract class, and these class have two methods, that get books and get book via authors, and you can check this so we are going to build one service here using this. Okay, stubs. Okay, and we have two methods. Cool. So let me here I am building a service. Okay, so we are going to just override. Okay, and this get books and same get book request, the same. Okay, and stream objects I'm going to so here it is a builder patterns. Using builder pattern only we can set. Okay, so the request, okay, once the whatever the user is passing, just I am storing here, and just all the business logic I am writing here only. So you can say it's a hard coding, and if ISBN is 1, then I am setting a a response code as a 200 and message as success, and if it is not a 1, then just it's a 200, but yeah, message is a fail. Okay, and then I think it is done, this get books. The next method is a get books via author. If you are searching based on the authors, okay, so just I'm seeing that what is there in the request, what client is sending into the request. Okay, and then if I'm checking whether author is equal to Bob's, then I'll send a success. Okay, otherwise it is a failed. Okay, so this is my services which I have developed, and then what I'm doing the next, actually, right, I'm going to deploy this services. So at least this services should be up and running, right? So that only I'm going to, and I'm using this port, okay, 50055. So you can use any port, available ports, and this is my service class. Okay, and now the services has got started. Okay, and here you can if you want to stop a services, you can stop here. Okay, so this is under a main method I have created. Okay, so yes, so if you want you can let me you can run this gRPC services Okay, and if you want, you can test through the Bloom RPC. And Bloom RPC is nothing but is a GUI tool like a Postman. Okay, so the Postman generally we uses to test the REST services, right? We send a request and then we get a response and we check it, right? So same here, we uses a Bloom RPC to test a gRPC call. So here you can say that my server has started and the services is up. So let me open the Bloom RPC. Okay, so this is a kind of GUI tool. Okay, so let me start this Bloom RPC. I don't know what happened. This Bloom RPC. There's something wrong with this. I don't know. But wait, guys. I think it's taking some issue with the Bloom RPC, I feel. Wait, sorry for the... Okay, cool. So I think our Bloom RPC has got open. So this is a UI for the Bloom RPC. Okay, and this you can say you can import the Protos. So I am going to import my Protos, and this is a book Protos. Okay, here I have a two methods. Okay, get books and get book via author. Okay, same. So first I'm going to execute a get books, and this is a local host. It is deployed on local host, your local machine, and the port is 5005. So let me run this. Okay, you can see this. If I am searching any books with this ID 10, then I am getting a message as a failed and response code is a 200. So you can see clearly in the business logic, right? So what I'm doing here. Okay, the same, just whatever I have done here, and the same it is returning. Okay. If it is a 1, then only it's a 200 as success, else it will send you response as a failed and 200 response code. Okay, so let me send the book code as a 1, and then you can see here the message is success and response code is a 200. Okay, so let's check the second method is here. Suppose that if I'm sending author as a hello, okay, then see what's again it's a failed. Why? Because of in our database, because here I've just done the hard coding. Otherwise you can just directly connect with the database and any repository layers. Okay, and so here I had created one book repository which just had commented, or maybe you can use some collections or map and you can store the data and just query here. Okay, but just to try to make you understand, I've done a hard coding here. So if it is a author is a Bob, then only I'm returning a response code as a 200 and the success and the message as a success. Else we are going to return the status code as a 200 and message as a failure. So that's why you are seeing here the message failed here. So message is failed and response code is a 200. So let me change this parameter here and assign author as a Bob and let me run it. Okay, now you can see the message is success and response code is a 200, as it's very obvious, I feel. Okay, so now till now I think you have understood that how you can you can test your proto file using a Bloom RPC. Okay. Okay, so now the next we are going to I'm going to show you that how you can create a client, and once your client is developed, how you can write your test cases. Okay, so let me stop this this server. Okay, so now once I stop, and if I'll show you the Bloom RPC, let me run it again. So see, definitely service is unavailable, right? It failed to connect to all addresses because our service is down. Okay, cool. So after this the services implementations, so we are going to talk about the client. Okay, how we can create a clients here. Okay, so client we are going to create here. So you can see the different stuffs has been request, response has been created here. Okay, and cool. And then if you go down here, okay, go to here only because there are a lot of codes that have been generated here. So we are going to create one of the channel here. Okay, and we are going to just give where, so definitely you need to give all the details. If you're creating a client, so you need to give a details where or where your services are deployed. Okay, the means the host name and the which port number. Okay, it has got deployed, and okay, and then these things you can get from the auto generated code only. Okay, so here I have created a object of that service, and then this is our method, right? So we have two methods, search book by ISBN and search book by via author. So actually in client, what I'm telling, from the test code, I'm not means I just wanted to make a very simple, means the Java user or Ruby user, they should just pass their data types or their value into their respective data type format. Okay, I don't wanted to them to create some object like get book request or such type of things, means object, yeah, classes I don't want, means we are going to request, I don't wanted to create in the Java or their respective language, right? So they will just pass the value either in integer format, string format, and here we are going to deal, actually we are going to convert into the gRPC request object format. Okay, so as you can see, the our book ID was in the integer format, so just I am taking from our test code, I am just taking an integer. Okay, and here I am just setting the, you can see the get book request dot new builder set ISBN. Okay, and that was an integer format, so just I'm passing here. Okay, so that's why it's completely the language independent. Okay, and so here I'm making a request here, and that request I'm passing into the book service dot get books. Okay, I'm passing a request, and then the response will be go to the our, and it will return a book response. Okay, cool. And that I have created a customized exceptions. If books not found, that particular books is not there, then I am returning a book not found exception. The same thing I am doing here as well, and where I am searching a book via author. Okay, and here I am passing author name as a string. Okay, inside the code you can see the book author request. Okay, and book author request dot new builder, I am building an object here and setting the author here on author name dot build. So now object is created. Same object, request object, I am passing into this book service dot stub dot get books via author method. Okay, and then we will get a response, and the same thing we are going to use in our test code, and we will do the assertion. Okay, cool. So till now I think so far if you have any doubt, just let me know via your comments. Okay, and here in the catch, if I'm just printing the message here, and if the author is not found, just we are throwing the exceptions, and we're printing the message. Okay, cool. So till now our client is ready. Once client is ready, we are good to write our test cases here. So we'll come to the test folder, and see this base test, I'm not doing nothing, just before shoot, because if you are running a test, right, your your services should be up and running. Okay, that's why I've added this bookstore servers. I've started the server. Okay, and once our shoot is going to over, then we'll stop the that gRPC services. Okay, that's why I've added into the after, before shoot and after shoot. Okay, maybe you can add into the, it's up to you where you do want to add, whether it is the after method, before method. Okay, it's your call. Okay, here I've created one of the test, book test, which is going to extend this base tests. Okay, and book clients, this is going to be a part of this book, and constructor only I'm creating the object of book clients, so at least it can be shared among all the test cases here. Else if you don't want constructor here, then individually you need to create object for in each test methods here. Okay, so here you can say the book client dot get book by ISBN, and we are getting a response here. Okay, and after that we are going to assert the response code. You can do the assertion for the message as well, whether it is a success or a fail. Okay, so here I have just added only one assertion only for the response code. The same thing I have done here for the second test method, that is get book via author. Okay, inside that I'm calling the book line dot get books by author. I'm passing a parameter as a bob, and definitely the bob was expected, so it will always return as a 200 status code. And then if you wants to assert the masses as well, whether it's a success or fail, that also you can add this assertion. So hope till now whatever I have given a walkthrough, or you can say the demo, it will be clear to you. And still, if you have any doubt, please let me know and give your comments, so at least I will clarify your doubts in your comments. Okay, so stay connected and we will meet into the next session. Thanks.